Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. The other day, Linux Mint released a brand new ISO, Linux Mint 22, codenamed Wilma. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to verify the ISO in Windows 10 and how to verify the ISO in Arch Linux. So let's get to it. So I'm in a virtual machine of Windows 10. And I already have Firefox opened. It's down here, so let's open it up. And we're at the Linux Mint website. So Linux Mint has, just in case you don't know, they have 4 versions. They have one version that's based on Debian only, and it comes with the Cinnamon desktop. And they have 3 versions that are based on Ubuntu. And they come with the Cinnamon desktop, the Mate desktop, and the XFCE desktop. So today I'm going to show you how to verify the one that's based on Ubuntu with the Cinnamon desktop. And it's, like I said, it's Linux Mint 22, code name Wilma. So I'm going to go to download and I'm going to click it on. And I'm going to scan down. And this is the one I want. I'm going to download it. And then I'm going to go to a mirror in Canada, one that's not too far from me, from the University of Waterloo Computer Science Club. I'm going to click it on. And I'm going to download it, and I'm going to pause the video while it's downloading and come back when it's finished. And then I'm going to show you how to verify it, and then I'm going to show you how to verify it in an Arch Linux system. So don't go away. I'll be back. Okay, so finished downloading. It's 2.7 gigabytes, so it took, I don't know, a minute or two. And what I'm going to do is scan back up to here. And I'm going to right click on this first box or field. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to save link as, and I'm going to click it on. And I'm going to save it. Okay. Now that only takes a second to download. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the second one. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to save link as. I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to go to my file manager. And you can see here in my download, I have the ISO, the SHA-256 sum, and the SHA-256 sum GPG. And what I'm going to do is is optional. You can leave them here and work from here, but I'm going to make a folder for it. So I'm going to go into my PC, and I'm going to go into my C drive. And I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to go new. I'm going to make a folder, and this part's all optional. I'm going to call it Mint 22. This part's optional because you can do it right from your downloads drive. As long as the ISO and those 2 text files are in the same folder, that's all you need to do. But I want to move it away from the other stuff. So now I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and I'm going to click on this, this, and this. And I'm going to right click it. I'm going to click on cut. And I'm going to go back to my C drive and to Mint 22. And I'm going to paste them in. Okay, so they're there now. Now I'm going to go back to Firefox, and I'm going to click on this verify. And then I'm going to scan down, and I'm going to keep scanning down to here. If you're using Windows, follow the tutorial how to verify ISO image on Windows. I'm going to click that on. And then I think I'm going to make this a little larger. And I'm going to click on OK. How to verify ISO image on Windows. So really, you just have to follow the instructions. And we already did some of the instructions as far as right-clicking and downloading those 2 text files and making sure they're in the same folder as the ISO. That's the first part of the instructions, which we already did. So now we're going to go to this other web page, and we're going to look for this file, Windows Download SIG Simple Installer for the current GNU PG. Okay. So we're going to scan down here, and here it is here. We're under Windows, Download SIG for a simple installer for the current GNU PG. So let's click it on, and it's downloading it. Okay, finished downloading it. So now we're going to go back to my file manager, We're going to go to downloads, and I'm going to click this on, and I'm going to install it. Do you want to install this app? Yes. It's asking me if I want English. That's okay. And I'm going to click on next, next, install. So we're installing it. Let's click on next and finish. Now we got to go back to the C drive and back to Mint 22 folder, and I shouldn't open it. Okay. Because we don't want the files, we want the folder. And this is the folder where I have to shift right click. It says open PowerShell. Yes. So now we're in PowerShell and do ls. Okay. Now we want to go back to Firefox. We want to select all, copy this line, go back to PowerShell and hit shift insert. And then we want to backspace right to there. And I want to highlight this and hit shift insert. Leave a space and type in SHA-256 and hit enter. This part's going to take like a minute or two, but I just want to mention there's two parts or two aspects about verifying an ISO. One is verifying the SHA text to make sure that the download of the ISO kept its integrity and has its integrity, didn't lose any integrity in the download. And then the other aspect is checking the signature to make sure that the ISO is signed by the developer of the distribution. Okay, so it's done. So we can see here, hash file command completed successfully. And what it did was it pulled out the SHA-256 number, this here, it pulled it out from the ISO. Now, what we want to do is we want to compare it with the text. Now, in Arch Linux, I have a command that I can run automatically, and it will compare this with the text file. And I tried running that command in Windows here, and it didn't work. We're going to do it manually, okay? Now, if there is a way to do it here, let me know in the comments. So what I'm going to do is leave this. Well, what I'm going to do is highlight this, okay? And I'm going to open up my folder, and I'm going to make a new file. And actually, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open up this. Now you can see there's three here. There's one for Cinnamon, Mate, and XFCE. We didn't download the Mate and the XFCE one. So I'm just going to make a space. And I'm going to do Shift, Insert. Okay? And I'm going to manually check it. Like I said, in my Arch Linux one, I have a command that I can run in the terminal and it will automatically compare the number. And I tried running it here in Windows 10 and it didn't work. So we can see this number is perfect. I'm just going to quickly scan through here. And it's exactly the same. So this shows me that the ISO, when I download it from the mirror, it didn't lose any integrity. It has its full integrity. Okay? This top line is a text file that I downloaded from the Linux Mint website. And the second line was pulled out from the ISO, which I downloaded from a university mirror here in Canada. Okay? So that's good. So we're halfway there for the Windows part. And then I'm going to go through the same exercise in Arch Linux. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file as, you don't have to do this part's optional. And I'm going to call it verify SHA-256. Okay. And now I'm going to close this. And now I'm just going to check this original file and make sure everything is okay. Now, like I said, we're halfway done for the Windows 10 part. So now what I'm going to do is go back to my website. Now we have to verify the signature. So we're going to scan down. And I'm going to hit this line here, authenticity check. So now we're going to check the signature. So I'm just going to copy this, make sure it's copied. And I'm going to go into my terminal or my PowerShell. I'm going to close Notepad. And I'm going to go into PowerShell. And you know something? In this Windows PowerShell, you can do the same thing as in Linux, the Linux terminal. And that is Control L clears the screen. Or ls shows you what's in the folder, just like Linux. And you could type in clear. Let's see if that works. And that clears the screen as well, just like Linux. So now I'm going to do Shift Insert that command, and I'm going to hit Enter. And we're downloading the GPG key. Okay. And this is going to take a moment as well. Oh, it's done. So it processed it. It's telling you the public key for Linux Mint ISO signing key imported. Okay. Now we're going to go back to Firefox. And it's telling you if this one didn't work, try this one or this one. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to this one. And I'm going to select all. I'm going to right click and copy it. I don't know if I have to do that part or if it's automatically copied. Anyways, and let's do Shift Insert. Let's hit Enter. And look at this. Good signature from Linux Mint ISO signing key. And there's the fingerprint. And now let's go back to Firefox. Now on the Linux Mint website, it tells you as long as it says good signature from Linux Mint ISO signing key and with a fingerprint matching the one shown above that you used to download the key, then it means your download is authentic. In case it was tampered with, the message would be bad signature from. You can ignore the warning that comes after that. It is expected and perfectly normal. So the warning they're talking about, let's go back to PowerShell, is this. They're telling you to ignore this. Warning, this key is not certified with a trusted signature. There is no indication that the signature belongs to the owner. The Linux Mint website is telling you to ignore that. As long as it says good signature, then we're good to go. So now we have verified the brand new Linux Mint ISO Wilma 22. We verified the signature and we verified the SHA-256 text. We know the download wasn't altered and we know the signature, well, the ISO is signed by the Linux Mint team. So now I'm going to go through the same thing in Arch Linux because the procedure is a little different. It's a little easier. So right now, I'm in my bare metal computer, which is running Arch Linux. And like I said, this is not a virtual machine. This is my bare metal computer. This is the computer I used to do my recording and make my videos. And like I said, it's running Arch Linux with the awesome window manager. So I've already downloaded the ISO in here. I have it in here, so I'm not going to download it again. And I already made a Linux Mint 22 folder to put the ISO in, and I'm going to go and download the other files to verify it. And I already have the Linux Mint website open up, and I'm going to go to download. I'm going to download Linux Mint 22. Now, like I said, the ISO is already there. So I'm going to scan down. And I'm going to go to download this one. And like I said, I'm not going to go to the actual mirrors and download it because I already did that. And this is the one I downloaded from the University of Waterloo Computer Science Club, just like I did in Windows 10. So now I'm going to right click this on. Now this part's the same as what we did in Windows 10, but I'm going to do it again because perhaps some people skip the Windows 10 part because a lot of my viewers don't like Windows. Neither do I, by the way. So I'm going to repeat some of the steps that are the same. I'm going to repeat them, like I said, because maybe someone is skipping the Windows part. They don't want to watch that part. So I'm going to go to here, SHA-256 some text. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to save link as. And oh, there it goes. And I'm already saving it in my Mint 22 directory because I did a practice run off camera. So it didn't open up automatically to my downloads folder. It opened up to my Mint 22 directory because that's the last place I was in. And I did my practice run. And I'm going to save the file. And these files only take a second to save. And I'm going to do the same thing with the second file, this GPG, SHA-256 sum text, GPG. I'm going to right click it, save the link as, and save it. And it doesn't matter what folder you do it in. Like I said, in the Windows 10, it's the same thing. You just have to make sure the ISO and these two files are in the same folder. That's all. It could be any folder. So now I'm going to go to verify. And I'm going to scan down. Now, remember the last time we scanned right down. I don't know if you watched the first part of the video. If you're using Windows, follow the tutorial, and I click that link on. But we're not going to do that this time. So we've already done this step. We downloaded these two files. We've done that. Let's scan down. So let's open up a terminal. Let's cd into ISO Mint 22. Let's clear the screen. Let's ls it. So you can see I have the ISO, I have the SHA text, and the SHA text GPG. Now they're telling you to check the SHA sum text to do it this way. But if you do it this way, it's just going to pull out the number, and then you're going to have to manually compare the number like we did in Windows 10 if you watched the first part of this video. And you can do it that way, but I'm not going to do it that way because there is a command that runs in Linux which will automatically compare the text. And like I said, I tried to do it in Windows and it didn't work for some reason. So in Windows, in the first part of the video in Windows, we did it manually. So you can do this if you want, you can run this, but I'm going to run something else. So I'm going to go back to my terminal and I'm going to type in this command. SHA-256 sum. I'm going to leave a space, -C. I'm going to leave another space. I'm going to type in SHA-256 sum period text. Let's hit enter and let's see what happens. And this just takes a moment. Now, this is interesting. You can see the first line says it's okay. But the second line, no such file or directory. Failed to read. And the third line, no such directory, failed to read. And the reason why is that this here has the numbers in it for the three ISOs, right? The Cinnamon, the Mate, and the XFCE. But we didn't download those other two ISOs. So if you want, you can do this. Let's vim into SHA text. And let's delete. So if you see the first line is for Cinnamon, the second is Mate, XFCE. You don't have to do this, but just to make it look cleaner and neater, I'm going to delete those two lines so that only the Cinnamon one is there. And let's save the file. And let's do that test again. Let's clear the screen. And let's do that test again. And I'm just doing this just to show you because it looks cleaner. And again, it takes a moment or two. And there it is. It's okay. So it compared the number that it pulled off the ISO and the number that we downloaded from the Linux Mint website, and they matched. They're okay. Now we're going to verify the signature. So this means that the ISO was downloaded with its full integrity, or it didn't lose integrity when we were downloading it, that there's no damage to the ISO. Now we're going to verify the signature to make sure that the ISO that we downloaded from the university website has the signature on it from the Linux Mint team. Let's go back to our website. And we're going to do the authenticity check. So first we're going to download this. Okay, let's just copy it. Let's go back to it. It's almost the same If you watch the first part of the video and you watch me do it in Windows, it's almost the same. The only thing is that in Windows, we had to download an app and install the app. We had to go to a website and download an app and install the app to make it work. And here we don't. That's all. So now I'm going to insert that line and hit enter. And it's downloading it. Now, you might wonder why it says not changed, because I already downloaded. So what I just did is I downloaded the signing key, but in my Arch Linux system here, I already downloaded it yesterday because I was going through a dry run through. Okay. So I already downloaded it, but that's what you do. Now, let's clear the screen. Let's go back to the website. So now we're going to do this. Let's copy it. Let's go back here and let's insert. And there's the key. Now, we can compare this key if we want with this. Okay, and it should be the same, right? And if we want, we can make a file. Let's make a file. Let's do vim verify sig text. Let's copy this. This part you don't really have to do. I'm just being extra careful. And let's go and grab the one that we pulled out of the ISO. And let's open up another terminal. Let's do vim cd ISO mint. Let's ls it. Let's do vim verify sig. And let's do this. Let's copy this one. Let's put it here. And let's make this full screen. And we can see it's the same. And you know what? We could just do this even. There we go. So we can see the number's the same. Now, let's just save that. Now let's go back to the website. And let's do this. So all we just did was we checked that the key was properly imported. That's all we did. Now let's do this. We're going to check the key that's in the ISO. So I'm going to copy it, and we're almost done. And let's clear the screen. And let's just ls it. And let's insert. And the reason why it's showing it's a bad signature is because I mucked around with this SHA text. So via vim into SHA-256 text, we took the other two out of there. We took the Mate one out and we took the XFCE one out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change SHA. Let's do move SHA-256 to SHA verify. Period TXT. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the Linux Mint website. I know I'm making this a little more complicated than it has to be. And what I'm going to do is let's go back here and let's re-download that. Save link as. Let's resave it. Now I'm going to go back and just to show you, let's vim into it. So now you see it has the 3 back in there. For some reason, for the signature check, you have to have all 3 in here. Why? I don't know. But you only need the 1 in there when you're verifying the other text, the SHA text. Okay. I hope this isn't too confusing. So let's close it and let's run that command again. You know what? Let's clear the screen. Let's copy it. Go back to the terminal. Let's insert it. And this time it worked. So you see, we have a good signature from Linux Mint ISO signing key. And there's the number there. You can manually check it out if you want as well. And there's the number there. So like I said, it's a good signature from Linux Mint ISO signing key. If you go back to the website, again, they're going to tell you, and I'm repeating myself now because I already showed this part in the first part of the video, but perhaps some people are skipping the Windows part. The output of the last command should tell you that the file signature is good and that it was signed with this number here. And of course, you can manually check this number out if you want. You could just copy it. Let's insert it in here. Okay, and you could compare it this way. If you want to manually compare it, you can compare it. Okay, and there's no spaces here, so you could compare it to this one. All these three are the same, except this one has spaces. You could manually do that. Okay, and let's clear the screen. Let's go back. So it's telling you the output of the last command should tell you that the file signature is good and that it was signed with this number. Note, GPG might warn you that Linux Mint signature is not trusted by your computer. This is expected and perfectly normal. So we just go back there. Let's run that last command again. Okay, so it's telling you it's a good signature, but warning, this key is not certified with a trusted signature. There is no indication the signature belongs to the owner. So the Linux Mint website is telling you that's okay, don't worry about it. Okay? And that's it. In this video, I showed you how to verify the brand new Linux Mint ISO that just came out the other day. I showed you how to verify the sum text to make sure that the download did not lose its integrity, that the ISO had full integrity. And I also showed you how to verify the signature to make sure that the ISO is signed by the Linux Mint team. And I showed you how to do that in Windows 10 and Arch Linux. Now, the thing is that I think most people do not verify the ISOs, and many times I have not verified the ISOs. And I think it's important to verify the ISO, and there's very few videos about it as well. Now, in the past, I've done several videos showing how to verify the Arch Linux ISO. I've done a video showing how to verify the Arch Linux ISO in Arch Linux and how to verify the Arch Linux ISO in a Linux Mint machine. But today is the first time I've done a video showing how to verify the Linux Mint ISO. Like I said, I did it in Windows 10 and Arch Linux. Please verify your ISO to make sure it hasn't been tampered with. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mint.